What in the hell is going on, Americans? Jericho Green here with you once again. Before I get started, big shout out to the Thrashes, the Thrash family showing love. I appreciate it. What up? People, we know the Democrat Party is crazy as hell. Nuttier than squirrel shit. But they've gotten more crazier, eh? I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, your boy, Bernie Sanders, a.k.a. Doc Brown, this fucking idiot was having a little town hall, or whatever they call this fucking circus that all these candidates do in New Hampshire or some shit. And he was talking about how he thinks that prisoners should be allowed to vote. Now, he didn't mean people who have gotten out of prison who have paid their debt to society. Because I got a friend of mine, a good friend. He messed up when he was young, but he served his time. And now he's gotten his rights back. He can do what we all can do. That is not a problem. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. But this dummy is talking about current prisoners. People who still live inside the prison. They should have the right to vote. He was saying, no matter how bad a person is, they should have the right to vote. Murderers, rapists, all these fucking people, the dregs of society, the shit on the bottom of our societal boot, should have the right to vote. Now that is 7 different ways of fucked up. But they're desperate. They're scrambling, they're scratching, they're looking for something to appeal to their base. Because nothing's working. What is wrong with you fools? Don't you know how Trump won? He had a message. He gave the people what they wanted. I know. But this fool is talking about current prisoners being able to vote. Now, never mind the worst of the worst. But if you're in prison, you've lost some of your rights. You're on timeout. You don't get to have an opinion on what goes on out here. You don't get to have fun. The rest of us are outside. It's a summer day. We're playing on the slip and slides, and your ass is up in your room, sitting on your bed, reading a book, listening to us have a good time. We've all been there. But when your ass is on timeout, or as my parents called it, restriction, you can't do what everybody else can do because everybody else is not in trouble. I'm sorry. And the people that he mentioned, the rapists and the murderers, and we're not talking about the justified homicides. You wake up, some piece of shit's in your house, so you kill him. Somebody does something to a family member, and you kill him. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about criminals. Psychos. And the rapists and all that, man, we already know what needs to be done with them. They need to be fucking fertilizer somewhere. And I don't mean burying them in the ground. I mean laying them on the ground and running over them with farm equipment with a rototiller and making them part of the soil. But you think they should vote? Now, not only from a moral standpoint is that stupid as hell, but the Correctional Officers Union is largely Democrat. So you mean to tell me that these unions aren't going to lean on these correctional officers and say, hey, we got an election coming up for one of our boys. We need you to tighten the screws on these prisoners and have them vote this way. You think they're not going to tell the guards, hey, make sure they vote this way. So the guards tell the prisoners, hey, you either cast your vote this way or I'm going to put you in an area where your enemies are. And they're going to fuck you up or kill you unless you vote this way. We're going to take this away unless you vote this way. We're going to do this to you. We're going to not let you see your family. We're going to give you more charges unless you vote this way. Fucking Ray Charles could see that corruption coming. How stupid are these people? They're desperate. You know, one time when I was a kid, I was probably 8 or 9, and shit like this scares me with my son growing up. I don't know where my mom was, but my dad, I went to the neighbor's house or something. So I go up the hill. I have the bright idea to take this can, this little like coffee can size thing, fill it halfway with gasoline, and light it on fire. Now, little did I know that fire and gasoline love each other. So this fucking flame is like 12 feet high. Of course, the flames are lapping at the fucking oak leaves that are hanging down because my dumbass decided to do it halfway under a fucking canopy of trees. So I think back to my days of the firefighters visiting my elementary school. I'll throw some water on this shit. Now, those of you shaking your head saying, no, I know. So I might as well throw more gasoline because those fucking flames got huge. So I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? Shit. And then I hear my dad's truck coming up the driveway. Fuck! I got to put this fire out right now or my dad is at least going to kick my ass. And my mom might get some too when she gets home. So finally, and I mean, it takes what, 10 seconds for my dad to get up the driveway? Finally, I have the bright idea. Let me kick a bunch of dirt on this shit. Kick a bunch of dirt on it, cover my pants, shoes, covered in dirt. I didn't give a shit. Covered it, it went out. I got rid of the evidence before my dad came up there. Whew. Close call. But my desperation level went up. I was willing to do anything to put that fire out before my dad saw it. The Democrats are doing the same thing. They're doing any and everything their extremely small minds can come up with to win this election in 2020. But it's having the opposite effect. You think the American people are going to get behind this bullshit? Letting prisoners vote? What kind of stupid shit is this? It is too ripe for corruption. And then Kamala, the Ugandan nightmare, she stands her equally stupid ass up there with Donna Lamone, that greasy lip bitch. And he said, pretty much asked her the same question. So people in prison, rapists, murders, all that, currently serving time. He said, currently, do you think they should have the right to vote? And she goes, oh, well, I think we should have that conversation. Kamala, shut the fuck up. Somebody give her an old liver-spotted dick to choke on, because she loves those. That's one of her 4 main food groups, old dick. Give her some. What the fuck are you talking about? Nobody is going to support that. Nobody. But their desperation is just fucking insane. Then some girl stands up in the crowd at Doc Brown's fucking town hall, and she says, well, what about like the Boston bomber? What about terrorists? Yes, even them, the worst people, even they should have the right to vote. A terrorist? Now, Bernie Sanders, most terrorists are, and you're but you support them being able to vote. People like the guy in the Pulse nightclub who killed 50 people. The dude in New York who hopped in a truck and ran down 8 people. Fort Hood. Hollywood. Shall we go on? People who are willing to murder innocent women and children, and yes, men too. We always get left out of that. People who are willing to blow up, run over, and shoot innocent people should have the right to vote. The only thing you should have a right to, if you commit an unjustified murder, if you commit an act of terrorism, and if you sexually assault or rape someone, especially a child, the only thing you have a right to is a rope around your fucking neck until you're dead. And speaking of dead, what's next? You're going to think dead people should get one last hoorah in the voting booth? They get one last shot at democracy before they go to the great beyond? Are you fucking stupid? Yes. What? People in prison should be allowed to vote? Is that not the dumbest shit you ever heard of? But you know what? We're too far out from the 2020 election for them to be finished with stupid shit. I guarantee you, somebody, one of those idiots in that clown car known as the Democratic ticket for the 2020 election is going to say some even stupider shit than what Bernie got up there and said. And Kamala, the Ugandan fucking nightmare. And then you got Elizabeth Warren, Joe Kahanis, the squaw with diarrhea of the jaw. Her dumbass is up there talking about, well, if I get into office, the first day there will be no more drilling on our public lands. What the fuck does that even mean? Give me a list of lobbyists that you've worked for, basically, that you've carried out their fucking agenda. Then we'll see about that shit. We'll see how many people have stuffed your fucking pockets with money before you start talking about we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that on my first day. You won't have a first day. I promise. You guys are just throwing fuel on the Trump fire. Now he's going to tell you the Democrats are the party of open borders, crime, and voting prisoners. Is it possible to not even have the 2020 election? Just give it to Trump. Go ahead. Why are we going through this fucking charade? It's like one time when I was working at the radio station, me and my boy Bobby, he was a stunt guy on the morning show. What up, Bobby? And we got a chance to judge a polenta cook-off. And the first person whose food we tried was this little old Italian lady. She was about 3.5 feet tall. She had on a muumuu and a wooden spoon stained with tomato sauce. So you know that shit was going to be good. It was polenta, some cheese, and like a red meat sauce on top. That was some of the best shit that ever crossed my lips. And as soon as I tasted it, I knew she was the winner. But I still had to put on a smile and eat the rest of that garbage that was lined up. That's what we're doing. We're going through the motion. Just give the fucking presidency to Trump. These fools are handing it to him on a silver platter. Voting prisoners? You fucking Democrats got me pumped up this morning. People, you know where I'm going. I'm about to take my place in this damn rat race. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow your boy on the Twitters @Green_Jericho. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.